I have this strange immunity when it comes to watching disturbing content. No matter how weird or crazy the content might be, I can just sit there with a stone poker face and watch it without any problem. Like when I watched Two Girls, One Cup, I was just like, eh. When I watched Waifu Basics, my reaction was, But earlier today, I watched a documentary and I was there with my jaw on the floor at how disturbing this thing was because I could not believe that this practice was still going on today. And it's about bride kidnapping, specifically in Kyrgyzstan, where it is so deeply rooted into tradition that dudes who want to get married, who can't get a girl to save their life, they resort to doing the last thing that any good man should do, which is they kidnap a woman off the streets and force her to marry them with the consent of both families, which is the crazier part, man. This is a planned thing, and in their tradition and culture, no marriage can proceed without the explicit consent of the bride also. She has to say yes to marrying this guy, whether she knows him or he's a complete stranger, and she says yes because she is in parts disturbed and confused, but also to her, getting married is seen as a rite of passage, as something she must do in her life. What you just saw is the family of the groom. They've already got the celebrations ready. They've got the feast. They got the extended family there ready to go. All they need now is a bride, which they plan to get by kidnapping her off the streets. This is absolutely ridiculous. When I first saw this documentary, I was like, there's no way this is real. This can't be a thing. This is just an outdated tradition and it has to be illegal. And yes, it is illegal, but here is where it kind of gets a little bit finicky. According to Kyrgyz law, you cannot kidnap a woman and force her to become your bride. It's completely illegal, and for the most part, in big cities, it is very well practiced, and this doesn't happen. But in the rural areas of Kyrgyzstan, and there are a lot of them, the federal government doesn't really have a lot of power or oversight in those areas. So the local towns have people they vote in or let govern them, and it's something called aksakal. And usually it's the elders who are in charge of the law and everything involving with it, and they choose to look the other way when it comes to bride kidnappings, and police don't have to get involved and don't even usually want to get involved in these things because to them it's not their problem. They have every reason to look the other way and carry about their business and let these elders just essentially say, oh, this is our tradition, we want our kids to get married, and it's okay if it happens through a kidnapping because it's for a good cause. Just incredibly disturbing stuff, and it's even scarier for the woman involved who is getting kidnapped because what's happening to her is completely illegal. She knows it, the dudes know it, everyone knows it, yet nothing about it gets done. I'm not going to show the video clip of this part because if I did, it could end with this video getting demonetized, but these dudes here just kidnapped this girl who was crying out for her mom. This guy here is the one who's supposed to marry her, and his boys just essentially helped him abduct her when she was fetching water. Just ran up to her, pulled her in the car, and said, yep, you're going to your own wedding. Have a good time and look forward to it. And that just kind of shows you the mentality that the people who live in these areas have. It is so wildly different than anything we're used to in North America or Europe or in most parts of the world, because this is not normal behavior, man. It is not normal to kidnap a woman and force her to marry you. But in these guys' eyes, it is normal. And also, a lot of their parents got married in this exact same manner. So it's a vicious cycle just repeating itself.
From here on, it's up to the women of the family to get the girl to put on the bridal scarf and agree to the wedding.
The women in the family of the groom try to convince and calm the new bride down and say, oh, it's for your own good, honey. Just put the scarf on and get married. You're going to have a great life with this stranger who you barely know or don't know at all. Everyone does their part, and they try to make it seem like the bride does want this because they're trying to get her to a point where she's gonna agree and say yes to this horrific wedding. As I was saying before, the bride's family can be aware of what's going on as well, and in this documentary, they were made aware. The family of the groom went to the family of the bride's house, and imagine that for a second. The people who just kidnapped your daughter, they know what they did is wrong, are coming over to your house and ask for your forgiveness and blessing, but still want this wedding to go forward.
I'm starting to get a little suspicious that bride's family may have known about this ahead of time. This is a pretty nice spread to put out on like an hour's notice.
That old lady is the grandmother of the new bride, and she's referring to her own granddaughter as saying, I'd like to keep her one more year. Then you guys could have kidnapped her, but you guys acted too quickly. But it's okay. We're going to let you guys get married anyway, because this is the same way I met my husband. Woo! Man, it's crazy disturbing stuff. The groom's family brought the bride's family a new sheep as well, and are telling them that, hey, we took your daughter, but we're going to give you a new sheep instead. And, you can have this sheep, you can use it to make milk, you can slaughter it if you want, and also, you get to gain a new son in your family. The new husband of your bride is going to become your family also, even though you guys met via a kidnapping means. Remember how earlier I was saying that the woman has to agree to the wedding explicitly? Well, this is her saying her I do's.
Никенин улуу шартынын бири келин бала өзүнүн каалоосу менен көңүлү менен ушул үйлөнүп аткан жигитке түбөлүккө жолдоштукка макулдугун бердиби? Көңүлүңүз менен ушул үйлөнүп аткан жигитке түбөлүккө жолдоштукка макулдугуңузду бердиңизби? Бердим.
They're making it seem like it's completely her decision. They're just flipping the script. So in the future, when she says, I didn't want to do this, they're going to be like, well, it was 100% your decision. She's there the entire time, fluttering her eyes, visibly confused, disturbed, angry. Every negative emotion is just flooding through her body. But she doesn't really see another option for herself because her family wants her to get married. They gave their blessing to give their own daughter away to this family of strangers. And all of a sudden, it looks like her best choice forward is to say yes and go forward with this wedding. Can you imagine for a second something like this happening in America or in Europe? If some dudes kidnap a girl off the street and say, yep, you're gonna get married to us. Can you imagine the outcry that would happen by the media, by the public, by the lawmakers, by the law enforcement? We'd have SWAT teams running to the house of the groom in under 10 minutes. We'd have helicopters in the air, news choppers filming everything. It would make international news. Everybody would talk about it, about how disgusting it is. But this is something that's still happening in parts of Asia, and very few people have ever even talked about this or mentioned it. Although this practice has been going on for generations. All of this is super disturbing already, incredibly disturbing, but towards the end of the documentary, there is a part when I saw it, my eyes just kind of went blank and my jaw hit the ground even more. I'm talking my upper jaw found its way to the bottom and just bam, hit the floor hard because I was so disturbed.
So right over my left shoulder is the sheet from their wedding night. Basically, she's a virgin, she's gonna bleed on the sheet, and then they take it out, and that's proof to everybody, and they hang it. There it is. Bride was a virgin. Double good happiness for bride and the groom.
Yeah, what the F, man. It's literally all a show. It's like, oh, a wedding is a show, come see it. Here's a sheet with the blood of the virgin girl on it that everyone can see. It's so demeaning and demoralizing. And man, this tradition needs to stop. It is horrific and horrifying and ruins the lives of people. Last thing I should mention, The girl in this video is only 16. These guys went and kidnapped a 16-year-old girl and forced her to marry him, which is so... Ugh, God dang it, man. I mean, ugh, for the love of God, man. Why couldn't you just be better with women and get somebody who's actually of age? You disgusting, horrific, useless person. Oh my God, I can't... Oh my God. I'm shuddering and just, oh God. If I had a 16-year-old daughter and I find out some dude kidnapped her to force her to marry him, I wouldn't call the police. I would go find him and then I would pummel his face until it was an unrecognizable pulp, because that's what he deserves. And it's so disturbing to me that this girl's father, her mother, her grandmother are all for her getting married. It's completely backwards and makes me very happy to live in a country like Canada where we actually have good laws and equality so that this stuff, this disgusting act, does not happen. And it's going to take me probably until tomorrow to get over this disturbing video. I know it's very disturbing, but I still want to share it with you guys anyway, and that's it for now. I'll see you next time.